B, me 31, F, senior diversity and inclusion consultant at a mid-sized software company, basically saving society one mandatory bias workshop at a time, have a master's in gender studies and media, culture from a university you've absolutely heard of. So, yeah, kind of a big deal, not trying to brag, just stating facts, spent years doing the reading, attending the panels, understanding systems. That feeling when you realize you're the protagonist of your own empowerment arc, and everyone else is just background characters. My whole adult life has basically been one long exercise in navigating patriarchy. Met my husband, Kevin, during my final year of college. He was studying civil engineering. Should have recognized the warning sign immediately. LOL, all calculations. Zero nuance brain, works like a spreadsheet. But back then he seemed sweet enough safe, predictable. The type of guy you marry while you're busy building the actually meaningful parts of your life. He was tall, classically good-looking, already had a job offer lined up with a big infrastructure contractor, checked all the basic boxes, solid starter, husband material. My friends and I would laugh about it over brunch mimosas. A few years later, we did the wedding thing. Huge ceremony, white dress, the works I wrote. My own vows obviously went on this whole speech about partnership being a radical act against traditional, heteronormative expectations. Kevin just smiled and said, "You're my best friend." Cringe.png. But whatever it worked at the time, he made decent money, covered most of the mortgage on our suburban house, gave me the freedom to focus on my career, activism, and personal development. Then our daughter Emma is born. That's when the real problems start surfacing. Suddenly his boring reliability feels suffocating. His constant, "let's just keep things simple," mindset starts sounding like he's dismissing my lived experience. I'm the one doing the real work. Now the emotional labor, the invisible, exhausting responsibilities that come with motherhood. I'm reading every progressive parenting book I can find, gentle parenting strategies, removing colonial narratives from her bookshelf, making sure none of her toys reinforce gender roles, teaching concepts like bodily autonomy before she can even form full sentences. Kevin's contribution changes. Diapers does, bath time, makes stupid faces until she laughs. And somehow, he thinks that counts as equal effort. He has no clue about the mental load, the constant planning and tracking and organizing, doctor appointments, preschool forms, meal planning, birthday parties. I try explaining it to him, use the correct terminology and everything. Kevin, the mental load is a documented form of gendered labor imbalance in domestic partnerships. He just stares at me like his brain stalled. You want me to call the pediatrician? Just tell me when completely missing the point. He literally cannot grasp it. Like explaining advanced color theory to a brick. Our arguments start happening more often and I'm better at them. Confident, precise. I literally dismantle bad arguments for a living. He builds highways and drainage systems, not exactly the same skill set. You're weaponizing incompetence, Kevin. When you say you did the dishes after I had to remind you, that's gaslighting, and refusing to talk about it is stonewalling. Usually he just shuts down, goes downstairs to the basement, plays video games or watches football, classic male avoidance strategy, can't handle an honest emotional conversation with a strong woman. I complain about him in my group chat. The coven they instantly understand. Ugh, he sounds exactly like my last boyfriend. You deserve way more than that, queen. He's dragging down your potential. They're absolutely right. He is the moment everything finally breaks. Happens. One random evening I come home exhausted from a full day battling systemic bias in corporate meetings. Walk through the front door, Kevin is on the couch with Emma. Who's 5? Now they're watching some dumb cartoon about emergency service puppies. House looks a little messy. Few toys on the floor, some plates sitting in the sink from earlier. I ask what's for dinner. Kevin looks up with that big happy golden retriever expression, says he was thinking we could just order pizza, and something inside, my brain just breaks pizza. The most default lazy male solution possible, the absolute minimum effort option. I spent the entire day building psychological safety for marginalized employees. And I come home to a man who couldn't even plan a proper meal for his family? I stare at him, this unbelievably simple human being, and I don't feel love anymore. Honestly, not even anger, just pity and maybe a little disgust. I've evolved past him. We're clearly on completely different trajectories. Now that night, I tell him I want a divorce. I've already rehearsed the speech in the car, outside Kevin. I've been doing a lot of reflection about who I am and where I'm going. And I've realized our paths are moving in different directions to become the most authentic version of myself and to set the best example for Emma. I need to continue this journey on my own. He just sits on the edge of our bed, staring at the floor. Face goes pale, eyes start watering. What did I do wrong? He asks it so quietly. It's honestly pathetic. He still thinks everything is about right versus wrong. Black and white thinking. It's not about what you did wrong, Kevin. It's about what I'm finally doing right for myself. His sadness slowly shifts into this quiet, angry energy. Good, maybe he's finally developing a spine. He stands up and walks out to the guest bedroom. Fine by, me bed actually feels more comfortable without him in it. Next morning, I wake up already planning my new life. The glow-up phase, the reinvention. I'm literally drafting the Instagram caption for my conscious uncoupling announcement in my head. This is going to be my era. Step 1, hire a lawyer. I start searching for the best female divorce attorney in the entire city. Find the lawyer online. Her website is bright pink with bold girl power fonts everywhere. Her name's Angela Sharp. Glasses power blazer, the whole intimidating vibe. I meet her in this trendy office downtown, sitting in a modern chair drinking fancy bottled water with cucumber slices floating in it. I lay out the entire story. His emotional distance, his weaponized incompetence, his refusal to grow or do the work. Angela nods slowly, the whole time face set in this expression of righteous outrage on my behalf. Textbook situation, she says, while tapping a polished nail against her legal pad. Don't worry, we'll make sure you receive everything you deserve. Exactly what I wanted to hear. We start listing the demands the house goes to. Me, I'm emotionally tied to it. It's Emma's home, primary custody of Emma. Obviously, I'm her mother, the default parent. He can have her every other weekend or something, child support, a solid amount. He's the main earner. After all, he makes around $125,000 a year. I make about $82,000, which is decent, but rent and groceries are insane lately. Emma deserves stability. Also, alimony minimum 5 years. I sacrifice career momentum, managing the home and carrying the emotional labor of the household. Angela scans the list and smiles approvingly strong demands. She says, firm but completely reasonable. Let's send it over. I feel this rush of excitement, like reclaiming power, finally asserting myself. I picture Kevin opening the document and immediately caving. He's never been confrontational, not a fighter. A week later, Angela emails me. We received a reply from Kevin's attorney, attachment included. I open the file and my stomach drops. He didn't cave. He hired a lawyer. Some guy from a massive downtown firm name, sounds like a villain. Law office, something like Carter Hale and Dominion. They reject everything, every single demand, and they included counter demands. They're not negotiating for shared custody. They're demanding primary custody themselves. I actually laugh when I read it, this weird, shocked laugh. The audacity, the pure patriarchal entitlement. Primary custody, Kevin, the guy who thinks pizza counts as a balanced dinner. No way he's serious. Clearly some intimidation tactic, legal posturing, trying to scare me. I call Angela immediately furious. Can you believe this? Garbage, this is textbook male aggression. Angela stays calm, says it's a bold opening move, but they don't really have a strong case. Courts usually lean toward the mother. Try not to worry, but the document they sent is long, really detailed. It outlines his proposed parenting schedule. There's even a request for me to pay him child support, which is insane. Then there's this phrase, forensic accounting of household contributions. What does that even mean? Next, several weeks turn into nonstop paperwork, legal discovery phase. His lawyer requests everything. Bank records, credit cards, statements, emails from work, text conversations, and then the big one, a complete archive of all my social media, Twitter, Instagram, private Facebook posts, even my TikTok account. I tell Angela, this feels like harassment. This is a massive invasion of privacy. They claim it relates to parenting, fitness, and character evaluation. She sounds slightly less confident. This time, judge will probably approve the request. Just be careful. About what you post moving forward. Be careful. My entire online presence is built on radical honesty about the female experience. This feels like an attempt to silence me. Kevin moves out, shortly after gets an apartment. 2 towns away, the house suddenly feels empty, eerily quiet. First weekend, he has Emma under the temporary custody agreement. I feel this strange mix of relief and anxiety. First completely free weekend I've had in years. I tell myself I should celebrate. Go meet the coven for brunch, raise a mimosa. Announce I'm finally liberated. They cheer, but then the conversation drifts to their own small dramas. One had a terrible Tinder date, another complaining about her manager at work. I feel irritated. Don't they understand the scale of what I'm going through? This is basically a spiritual battle. Later I go home, the house is silent. I start scrolling. Instagram, see a photo. My sister-in-law posted Kevin and Emma at a playground. He's pushing her on the swings, both of them smiling. Looks like they're having the best day ever. Something about it feels like betrayal. The legal fight gets uglier. After that, they schedule my deposition. I sit in this sterile conference room for 6 straight hours. Kevin's attorney across the table, perfect suit, that probably costs more than my laptop. He starts questioning me about everything, pulls up a tweet I posted last year. Can we admit the nuclear family model is basically a Cajun half of men are just extra weight? I explain calmly what I meant is that traditional family structures can be restrictive and domestic labor is unevenly distributed. Do you consider that controversial counsel? The lawyer just smirks slightly and glances toward the stenographer. Then he shows photos from a girls' trip I took to Vegas. Who cared for your daughter during those 4 days? Her father did so. Kevin is capable of parenting independently when it benefits you. Angela objects immediately, but the atmosphere in the room shifts. Something feels off. Like momentum isn't on my side anymore. And then they bring out their main piece of evidence. Turns out, Kevin's been keeping records, not normal notes either. A full spreadsheet. Apparently he's been updating it for almost 2 years. Every single task, log diaper, changes, dinners, cooked, with the recipes listed next to them. Bedtime stories with the exact book titles. Days he left work early because Emma was sick. Laundry loads, vacuuming, cleaning the bathrooms, all of it, color-coded, different tabs, graphs, showing time distribution, even a pivot table, comparing his hours to mine. He tracked how long I spent on my phone. He logged weekends where I said I was too exhausted to play. And he took Emma to the park himself. There are notes quoting things I said like, I can't handle this right now, you take it. I stare at the stack of pages, hundreds of them. This is insane, I whisper to Angela. This is obsessive behavior, borderline stalking. Angela doesn't look impressed. It's evidence, she says quietly. Kevin's lawyer keeps going. Another folder appears statements from Emma's preschool teacher saying, Mr. Harris always attended conferences and volunteered at school. Events letters from neighbors saying Kevin was always outside with Emma, teaching her to ride a bike, playing catch in the driveway. Note from his manager saying he arranged a flexible work-from-home schedule specifically for childcare. They're dismantling my entire narrative piece by piece. My identity has always been the overworked mom carrying everything. They're painting me as barely present me. My head starts spinning. Everything feels like it's tilting sideways. We move into mediation, last chance to settle before court. I walk in mentally ready for battle, reviewed all my arguments beforehand. I'm calm, I'm focused, I'm powerful. Kevin's already there. With his attorney looks tired but steady, doesn't even glance at me. The mediator is a woman in her 60s, stern expression, not warm or friendly at all, definitely not the supportive energy I hoped for. I start speaking first. Explain the mental load, emotional labor, the systemic disadvantages women deal with during divorce. She listens quietly, then turns toward Kevin. What's your position? His attorney slides the spreadsheet across the table. My client's position is simple. He's been acting as the primary caregiver for nearly 2 years, while his wife, quoting her own social media posts, was fighting patriarchy online. During that time, my client packed lunches, went to school. Events took care of his daughter during illness. He isn't trying to remove the mother from the child's life. He's asking the custody arrangement reflect the reality of their household. The mediator spends nearly an hour reading through the logs, then flips through a binder labeled Exhibit A, my tweets printed out page after page. She looks up at me. No sympathy at all in her eyes. Ma'am, she says flatly. Emotional labor isn't recognized as a legal standard. This spreadsheet, however, is evidence your public posts are also evidence right now. Your husband's case for primary custody appears stronger than yours. My advice is, accept the 50-50 arrangement being offered, because if you take this to court, you could walk away with much less 50-50 custody. No primary parent status, no. Big child support payments, no. Alimony, either. Our salaries are considered similar. Once shared expenses are factored in, the house would be sold and the equity split evenly. It's not a win, it's basically a draw. I refuse tell them, I'll see them in court. First time, I actually spit the words toward Kevin. He finally looks at me. No anger in his face, just this deep, tired sadness. I'm sorry it came to this. Melissa? He says my name. He hasn't used it in years. It sounds strange coming from him, makes me even angrier. Court day arrives. I wear my best blazer. Look intimidating inside. I feel completely hollow. The coven sends texts, "You've got this queen." They read hollow. Now I sit next to Angela. She's flipping through papers and avoiding eye contact. The judge walks in, Judge Alvarez, mid-50s, a woman of color. For a moment, hope sparks in my chest. She'll understand systemic power dynamics. She'll see what's happening here. She doesn't see that. She sees evidence. Kevin's lawyer presents everything calmly methodical. The spreadsheet, teacher statements, neighbor testimony, my social media posts projected on a screen. For the courtroom, men are dead, wait. Marriage is a trap. Sometimes I dream about running away from all responsibilities, all context, stripped away, just angry sentences hanging in the air. Angela does what she can, talks about my education, my career, my identity as a mother. But she has no charts, no logs, just arguments. I watch the judge's face the whole time, completely unreadable. Eventually, she looks directly at me. "Ma'am, do you have anything you'd like to say?" This is my chance. I stand up, hands shaking slightly. "Your Honor, this case shouldn't be about spreadsheets or counting who cooked more dinners. This is about motherhood, the bond between a mother and her child, something a father can never fully understand. I am her mother. Biology says that matters. Society says that matters. Basic decency says that matters. She should be with me." The courtroom goes completely quiet. Judge Alvarez slowly removes her glasses, presses her fingers against the bridge of her nose like she's exhausted already. "Miss Harris," she says finally, voice calm but sharp underneath, "I've served as a family court judge for over 20 years. I've seen every kind of custody case imaginable, and let me explain what I'm seeing here." She looks toward Kevin. I see a father who is actively and consistently involved in his daughter's life, a man who adjusted his career so he could be present and available as a parent. She puts the glasses back on and looks down at the file in front of her. And I see a mother who appears more focused on promoting ideological arguments online than on the everyday responsibilities of raising a child. My chest tightens instantly. You've spoken repeatedly about the mental load, but the evidence presented suggests Mr. Harris was carrying not only his share, but frequently yours as well. My throat goes dry. Parenting is not a theory, Miss Harris. It's action. It's showing up day after day, and the record clearly demonstrates Mr. Harris has been doing exactly that. She pauses, then reads the ruling the court orders, joint physical and legal custody, 50-50 given the equal parenting time, and relatively similar income levels. Child support will be set at 0. No spousal support will be awarded. The marital home will be sold, and the proceeds divided equally between both parties. 0. The word rings inside my head. 0. It echoes in the silent courtroom. This can't be happening. My whole plan for starting over. My victory, my fresh, empowered life gone. No, the sound rips out of me before I can stop. It doesn't even sound like my own voice. You can't do this. This is injustice. This is the patriarchy protecting itself. I'm yelling now, pointing toward the judge. This woman who was supposed to understand. Angela grabs my arm, hard. "Melissa, stop." 2 bailiffs start moving toward me. He manipulated this entire thing. He made a spreadsheet. I'm crying now, tears and snot running everywhere. My expensive blazer suddenly feels like it's choking me. The judge bangs the gavel. "Once this hearing is concluded, ma'am, you will regain your composure or you will be held in contempt." I drop back into the chair. All the fight drains out instantly. Just this massive hollow emptiness left behind. I lost not just the case. Everything the aftermath is even worse than court. The house sells quickly after paying off the mortgage and fees. My half ends up around 75 grand. Sounds like a lot until you actually look at housing prices, not enough for anything decent. Barely enough for a down payment on a tiny place in a rough neighborhood. So I end up renting 2-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. The smell of detergent never leaves the hallway. Old building floors creak constantly, kitchen the size of a closet. Emma hates it immediately. Daddy's new place has a swimming pool. She tells me the first weekend she stays over, of course it does. Kevin probably got promoted for all the infrastructure projects. He finishes. My friends the Coven, they slowly disappear. First, there are supportive texts. The system is broken, thinking of you, Queen. But when I suggest meeting up, everyone's suddenly busy. When I try venting, I get short one-word responses. My story isn't empowering, it isn't inspirational content. It's just depressing. I've become bad branding for them. My social media posts stop completely. What would I even post? Just moved into my feminist paradise above a washing machine. Hashtag thriving, hashtag blessed the silence, online is loud. My life splits into 2 separate miserable schedules. The weeks I have, Emma money is tight. My $82,000 salary used to feel comfortable when Kevin's income backed it up. Now it barely stretches, rent bills, car payment, groceries for the first time in my adult life. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Dinner is usually pasta. Not fancy organic pasta. Either the cheap stuff in the blue cardboard box. Emma asks why we never order sushi anymore. I tell her cooking at home is healthier. The weeks she stays with Kevin are somehow worse. The apartment becomes silent, empty. I have nowhere to go, no one to see. I sit on a secondhand couch scrolling my phone endlessly. I still go to work, but the passion is gone. All the buzzwords sound fake now. Equity, intersectionality, lived experience. What exactly is my lived experience now? A 31-year-old woman eating instant noodles alone in a small apartment, missing her kid. One night the silence gets unbearable. I search Kevin on Facebook, using a fake profile. His account is public photos everywhere. Him and Emma at Disneyland. Him and Emma swimming at the pool in his apartment complex. Then another photo, Kevin standing next to a woman. She's pretty profile, says she's a veterinarian. She looks genuinely kind. He isn't struggling at all, he's thriving. He got the daughter, the new life, the new girlfriend. And I'm left with this, the moral high ground, which turns out to be a cold, lonely place with terrible plumbing.